Okay. Happy Friday, everyone. I am so glad to be here, and hopefully this Friday my internet is not going to go out. So I am really, really excited because this week I have Cris with me from Fortune Financials Group, and she is going to talk to us. She's going to talk to millennials, but I'm sure that all this applies to anyone. 5 steps to create and maintain wealth. So this is really, really important. And I told Cris when I first talked to her, I wish somebody had told me this. So welcome, Cris. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Betsy. Thank you
Hi.
for meet and happy Friday to everyone. Well, Betsy and I started talking and I was just telling her that we have this program. It's specifically for millennials, but sometimes it creeps up and we get older folks as well that never were taught this. And it's just 5 really easy steps to the priority of your spending. So a lot of younger folks, they get out of college and they start getting paid a paycheck and they don't know what they're supposed to spend their money on, right? There's a lot of goals that are competing for their limited financial resources. They want to go on vacations. They're finally free and they're making some money. They want to save for a house. They might want to be saving for an engagement ring. They may have student loans they need to pay off. And then their parents are telling them, save for retirement. Yeah. And they don't want to save for retirement. It's 40 some years away. But our generation and then their generation are some of the first generations that haven't had pensions, and they need to be saving, because if they don't, they're going to wind up like some of the clients that come to my office and say at 40, 45, 50, if I had just known I was supposed to start saving for retirement, I would have done it. And they didn't. And so then they're playing catch up. So we like to start young as we can. We opened a program, we call it the Wealth Builder Program. And it's really just to educate young people to prioritize their savings. So I was telling Betsy about it, and she said, let me put you on this Friday Facebook Live so you can tell other people. So it's really simple. And it starts with budgeting, number one. Yes, you can do it. 90% of Americans do not like to budget. And I don't even care necessarily if you don't want to itemize every latte or coffee that you bought. What I want you to do is put down a budget every month of what your rent, your utilities, your cell phone, your groceries, and then how much out of that paycheck is left over that you can save. So we want to budget in saving for yourself. So that's kind of, you're paying yourself. Consider it a bill to yourself. And you want to be able to itemize and tell each dollar where you want it to go. So there's lots of budgeting apps out there. There's Every Dollar, which I use. I think that one's great. There's YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. There's Mint. There's a ton of apps. They're super easy. There's no reason you can't put a very generic, simple budget together. Studies show that those that just budget save like 80% more just because they put together a really simple budget.
Wow. That's good to know. So just do it and okay.
Yeah, just simple. And it's an app. So
which one is your favorite? Say that again. I want to write that down.
I like Every Dollar. And there's a free version where you input everything, or if you pay, I think it's $99 a year, you can have it linked to your banks and your credit cards, and it'll import all of your expenditures.
Okay. So have you tried Truebill?
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
Okay. I use that one. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Just put together a really simple budget. Right. The second thing is I want you to save. If you have no savings, save $1,000. And this is just a small emergency fund. We're just going to put this in a passbook savings account at the bank. We're not investing this, but we need to have something in the bank because Murphy is going to come calling. If you know Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. We need to have a little bit there. Thirdly, so we've got the budget. We're going to save $1,000. Third, we're going to pay off all of our non-mortgage debt.
Okay, can I go back to the savings again
Yeah.
question? I have a question.
Yeah.
So does that mean we take $1,000 and we put it there, or does that mean we say we're going to put in $100 a month or $50 a month, or do we say we're going to put $1,000 in there and then we're going to say we're going to add $25 a month every month?
Well, right now we just, if you have $1,000, put $1,000 in.
Okay.
If you don't have $1,000 yet, then start putting in your budget. If you found $50 that you can save, then start putting that into the savings account until it reaches $1,000.
Okay. Okay.
If you have debt, that's the next thing. And I'm going to be pretty hardcore on debt. I'm going to say I want all of your debt paid off before you save anything else, except for a mortgage, so all non-mortgage debt. So that means student loans, cars, credit cards, financial freedom. We do not want debt. Okay. Debt is a slave to the owner, right? To the lender. Debt is a ball and chain. So, when you're young, when you get out of college, you get all of these credit card companies sending you applications, car companies telling you how long they can finance your car for. If you lose your job, those companies are still asking you for your money. They do not care that if you have a job or not. You still have to make payments. So we want financial freedom. We do not want to have these bills, these monthly bills that we have to make all the time. We want flexibility. We want to be in control and have no weight on our shoulders, right? So we save that $1,000. We're going to pay off student loans, credit cards, cars, and we're going to do it. This is called the snowball method, and it's a little against the grain, if you will. It's not by the interest rate amount. It's by the size of the debt. And the reason we recommend this is it's more behavioral. Money is very behavioral. It's so you take the smallest debt and you line up all of your debts by size.
Except the mortgage. You leave that separate, right? Yeah.
That's up.
But if you have car and credit card and
loan, all of it. We're going to make the minimum payments on all of your loans. If you have any money extra each month, anything extra that you can put towards your debt, you're going to put it towards the smallest loan. Say you have $25 extra. You're going to put that $25 to your smallest loan. Even if your smallest loan is $200, put it towards that one. And when you get done paying off that smallest loan, you're going to take the payment from the smallest loan and the extra $25 and apply it to the next smallest loan number 2.
Right.
Even though you're done with one, you're not going to give yourself a break and say, "Whew, I'm done with one. I have extra cash to spend out this weekend." No, you're going to put that to the second loan. And then you go down, you snowball it. When you get done with number 2, you take the payments from 1 and 2 and you apply it to 3. And so what happens is that you gain momentum because you have paid off loans and you've seen progress. And so you start saying, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I paid off 1. I paid off 2. I'm on number 3. And you tend to stay with it longer than if you just take the biggest one. If you start the biggest one, you never get through it. And so you So we want to see small wins because small wins keep you in the game.
Okay.
And again, we want to pay down the student loans. I know a lot of kids these days have $100,000 in student loans. We want to pay those off. It affects the interest rate you're going to pay if you have a mortgage. It's going to affect your credit score. It affects everything. So
I think that your credit score affects your insurance rates.
Yes, it does. Yeah. So we want to get rid of it. I have clients that are savings for their kids' college education, and they still have student loan debt.
So let's say you have a car loan. Mm-hmm. Are you saying to pay it off? Like I have a car loan. Well, anyway, so let's say it's $400. Are you saying to try and pay it off sooner than the time? Are you saying add principal to it every month or just stick to the 6 years or whatever you're paying it off?
Yeah, I'd add it to this debt snowball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what happens is when you get rid of these debts early, all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, think how much more money you have every month. And then you have freedom because, if you
Yeah.
lose your job or you decide to change jobs or move, you don't have all these chains
Right.
on.
That's exactly right.
So that's number 3. So we're budgeting, we're saving $1,000, we're paying off our debt, and then we're going to build a larger emergency fund. And that emergency fund is going to be 3 to 6 months of your expenses, of your monthly expenses. And 3 months if you have a spouse and you both have income and you're not totally reliant on just your income. 6 months if you live alone and you're the only one paying the bills and the rent, and it's going to take you that much longer to find another job. But if anything, COVID taught us anything. Life can happen unexpectedly. Murphy comes calling, as we say. You need to have a fallback.
COVID has taught us a lot of things. Okay. And that's one of them.
Yes. So many of my clients have come to me and said, thank God I had an emergency fund. You never think you're going to use it. And kids hate saving. They hate putting this money aside. And we tell them not to put it in the stock market. Because again, what would have happened to it in COVID? It would have been cut by a third.
Right.
And they might have lost their job.
Right.
And so that's no good. So we have them, if your expenses are whatever, $5,000, $4,000 a month, save 3 times that in a savings account. And just kind of keep it at that amount. If you have to buy new tires for the car and you have to dip into that for it, then next month you try and build that back up.
Right.
So that was number 4. And then, so we have budgeting, save $1,000, pay off our debt, emergency fund of 3 to 6 months. And then we're going to save 15% gross towards retirement. Now,
but after we get these other things finished, right?
Yeah. And I do make a little bit of an exception. If you have a company that offers a match,
okay,
then I would at least put in your match up to the company match.
Yeah.
For this. So if they match, common match is like 5%. So you want to be sure you at least put in 5% to your 401k.
Yeah.
But after you have no debt, you have an emergency fund, then you want to put the pedal to the metal and put 15% into your retirement fund. And if you can't put it all into your 401k, then open up a Roth IRA. You can do that on the side on your own with Schwab, Fidelity. Somehow we want to kind of think in our mind 15%.
Okay.
And I'll, it's debated. I will add the company match to that. So if company adds 5%, you can add 10%.
Okay.
But some people say it should be 15% just you. I don't know. I mean.
All right. Now I have to ask you a huge question.
Yes.
So you did all this. You're a millennial. You get out of college. You follow the rules. You're putting your 15%. Now you want to buy a house.
Yep. So great answer. Great question. So number 1, now you save, but also if you had in number 5, step 5, you had saved your 15% towards retirement. If you had put some money into a Roth IRA on the side, not through your company, but on a Roth IRA on the side, the Roth IRA has a provision that if it's been open for 5 years, you can take out your proceeds. So any of the money that you have deposited into it, not the growth, but the money that you've deposited, and you can take out up to $10,000 for a first-time home purchase without a penalty.
Okay. Yeah, because I think the problem too is that the kids are trying to also save for a house. Interest rates are so low, they're crazy to be paying rent if there's any way that they don't have to.
Right. So this Roth is a great way to do that because you're kind of doing both. You're saving for retirement and you can use it for a first-time home purchase.
Okay.
And you don't have to pay, taxes on it. You just get that 10%, 10,000. So it's a great way to save.
Okay.
So the nice thing is if you've gotten to this stage, if you've gotten to step 5, you're going to get even a lower interest rate because you have some savings and you have no debt.
Right.
You're going to need some money when you move into your house, right? Because you're going to need a little money. You might have a refrigerator that goes broke
and you always are going to have decorating things you want to do. And you got to buy a this and you got to buy a that. And you need a lawnmower and oh my gosh, homeownership is not inexpensive.
Right. And think about how great it would be if you get to that point and you've been budgeting for a year or 2 or 2, 3 years and you've been budgeting. Then when you buy a house, man, you know how to budget for a home. You'll know, right. Okay, I'm going to set aside $100 a month or whatever it is for home improvements.
Right.
And you've grown into it. You've taken the steps to be, I don't want to say mature enough, but smart enough to handle that responsibility.
Well, you've taken back control. Let's use that, because I think that when you have all that debt, I used to think of it as responsibility. Now I think about it as control. Do I want to be in control, or do I want to let the bank, the lenders, somebody else be in control? Yeah, so this is a way of saying, okay, I'm in control of my destiny. I'm going to figure it out, not that.
Right. So, right. And I even have clients that get to this point, they've paid down their student loan, they buy one house and they have so much freedom because they have no debt and they've followed this, that all of a sudden they're buying a second home because they're going to use that as a rental property now. And they have so much more flexibility with their life because they don't have, they're in control. And so they have rental income coming in every month. And they're 29, 30 years old.
Wow. This is a great inspirational story, especially now during COVID, because you know what? We are all going to be creative. The businesses are going to come back. People are going to find work. But let's teach the next generation and let's prepare so that we maybe I'm looking back and maybe my parents didn't think about it because they budgeted and they saved, but they just probably did it normally because they didn't have any money when they started.
Right.
They couldn't they couldn't in their mind wrap their head around people having excess money.
Yeah.
So it was just, my mom used to say I'd budget, I was going to make a pork chop. So whatever it was, but anyway, this is a gift. And Cris, people can, this is going to run on my Facebook page. This is going to run on Chris's. If you want any more information, just send us a message, send us a text. Cris, you want to just tell us your phone number maybe? So people can reach you, or your web, your web address, something.
Yeah. So, my phone number is 630-881-8123. Our website is fortunefinancialgroup.com. And I'm also starting, I hesitate to even say this because I'm just building it. But I'm still starting a new website called Women Who Build Wealth Know. And it's an education website for finances for women who want to build wealth.
Wow.
So getting that up and going and just trying to get it out there. It should be taught in school, in college, school, and it's not. And our kids get in trouble because they don't know how to prioritize.
They don't. They absolutely. And you know what? When you get that rolling, let's come back and talk about that. The women in wealth and all of these things. You are such a fabulous resource. And I hope that a lot of people call you and work with you because it's going to make them free. And I am all about freedom and freedom to live your dream.
Yeah.
So thank you, Cris. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you, Betsy, for having me. It's fun. I love teaching this stuff.
This is great. Thank you. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.